I've learned that you can plan out your whole life, and sometimes God has totally different plans for you. You can think you're going to be at a place for a really long time, and then sometimes things come up and God's like, nope. It's almost like when you have a baby, you get used to one season. You're like, okay, finally got on a good sleep routine. And then as soon as you get that routine down, they're onto something else. And you have to then get used to another routine or another season. And I think that's specifically in these times. I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like they're way more chaotic. Things are accelerating more. Life is changing. I think people are noticing that their time feels like it's passing by quicker, and you're always like have to be in tune to what God is saying and what He has for you, so you don't miss it. You don't miss that opportunity. So if you're in a season where you thought, I'm going to be at this house for a really long time, or I'm going to be in this location for a long time, or at this job for a long time, God might have other plans for you, and being open to that means you're letting go of what, He says He directs the steps. He'll direct your steps, so you have to let go of sometimes your own plans. This is really where trust comes in and where faith comes in, because faith is an action. You can say you have faith, but it's really the walking in the faith that produces, not only pleases God, but produces the confidence and the trust in what you have faith in. So it's like you're walking without knowing, because you have faith that God is going to do what He says He's going to do. So it's just really interesting time right now. I think this is why a lot of people are trying to simplify their life so they can gain some clarity. So if you're feeling like you need clarity and there's too much happening, too much coming at you, too much stimulation, consuming, like you're seeing too much, you're watching too much, you're hearing too much, then do yourself a favor and try to trim what you know is not working. So there might be layers of what you're going to trim. The first layer is like, okay, for sure I can let this go. This is not producing. It's wasting my time, stealing my joy, stealing my peace. And then there'll be another layer. You're like, well, this is it's enjoyable. I'm going to see where it goes. But the more fat you trim, the more productive you're going to be. It's like you're putting yourself in a position to function at your maximum potential. It's like when you trim the fat off your body, now your body's like a machine. It's like it's not working against you. It's actually working for you, and it's producing better energy, better thoughts, better feelings, less fuzziness. When your body's really out of shape and you're carrying around a lot of luggage, you can't think as clear. You're tired more, and it affects every other area of your life. This is why trimming the fat, both physically and spiritually, mentally, like in your whole life, just makes so much sense to come up higher, to be your best. A lot of times we want to lower our faith to match the circumstances or the difficulties that we're going through. But I'm here to tell you that difficulties are just for a season. We all go through specific difficulties. That doesn't mean you need to alter your life to match the difficulty. But being wise and knowing when to let go, again, of things that aren't producing, of toxic relationships. Like the amount of time we spend maintaining the wrong relationships is insane. If you think about all of the conversations and the engagements in maintaining something that's not producing fruit, you're trading your life for whatever it is you're engaging in. Like you're literally trading your life for that. So it has to be worth it. Spending time with your family is worth it. You're cultivating a healthy home, learning skills such as baking or cooking or artwork. It's just skills that are creating. You're in a different state. You're creating, you're producing, and as opposed to consuming all the time. So when you shift into that, your life just becomes a little bit more intentional. You shop intentional, like everything's intentional. I go to bed intentional. I rest hard. I'm like, okay, I play hard, I rest hard. I work out hard, I rest hard. So it's like you're intentional and you're all in at everything that you're doing. Personally, if I'm not 100% in or I'm not all in, I don't want to do it. So I wait for that time when I know, okay, I am all in right now. I'm going to do it. Like if I'm going to be in the gym, I'm like, I am all in, and everything kind of rotates around. I'm all in on whatever it is that I'm doing. Because otherwise you're not really giving yourself the opportunity to see how far you can go. You're not giving yourself an opportunity to see to reach that maximum potential, because you're not all in. So you're only going to reach, basically, if you're halfway in, that's what you're going to get. So whatever season you're in life, be intentionally all in that season. If you're like, I want to get out of debt, go all in. Make sure that you return what you can return, sell what you can sell, put $5, $10 to every credit card. You could do the Dave Ramsey thing where he says just pay the smallest ones to build the momentum before the biggest ones, and don't look at the interest. Like, there's so many different things you can do to be all in on that. And once you complete that specific goal, and you're like, I'm going to be all in on refreshing my home. Okay, so this season I'm all in on refreshing my home. Or I'm going to be all in on, serving my spouse. Not necessarily serving, but being a good spouse. And really cultivating a healthy marriage, healthy relationship. So you want to be all in at whatever task you're doing. And that's how you're going to move through the different seasons. It's like a different rhythm than just trying to do everything a little bit at a time. You're like, I'm halfway in on 100 different things. Well, trim some of those and go all in on 3 things instead of being a quarter of the way in on 50 things, because you're trying to do too many things at one time, and then they're all halfway done. And also you might be in different stages of things. You might be in a building stage of something where you're doing a lot of groundwork and you're showing up a lot without seeing the fruit of what you're putting in. If you're starting to work out, you're not gonna notice the physical fruits first, but you'll notice your body is changing and adjusting. That's with everything in life. It takes time for the physical to manifest to whatever it is you're doing in the spiritual or whatever you're working on, because there's a foundation, there's a ground that needs to be laid, a firm foundation, and the stronger you build that, the better the fruit that's going to produce. So don't get discouraged if what you're doing, if you're like, oh, I'm not seeing results right away. Keep going, and you will start seeing results. And then when you start seeing results, don't take your foot off the gas. A lot of people, they're like, well, this is the time where I'm now going to take a vacation because I work so hard. No. This is the time where you press in and you keep going, because if you're like, oh, I need to back up, right when the momentum's going. So the momentum, you want that to work for you, not work against you. So if you are building something and now you've got some revenue coming in and the momentum's going, you want to lean into that, because the momentum, it took you so long to build that momentum, you want it to start working for you. Don't give up at that point. And if you cut the other things, it doesn't seem like as much work because you're not juggling 50 things. Instead of trying to juggle a bunch of different things that aren't producing or aren't working, or like I said, being half in or quarter in on 50 different things, just go all in on a few things and complete those things too. Like, don't have a bunch of half cut down trees. That's what John Maxwell used to say. Like, you're trying to cut down too many trees at one time. Complete the first one. It's like, get the ball rolling on one and have that producing before you start another project or another thing. This goes for home DIYs too. A lot of people have like 50 DIYs or 50 renovations going on in one home. It's a catastrophe. Start in one area first, complete, move on to the next if you can. I mean, that's just to keep your sanity, and then you feel like, okay, we're getting somewhere, and you feel like you're making progress, in that area. But it's such a good rule for any area in life to function that way. It also takes time, so don't get discouraged if things aren't happening as quickly as you want. I always tell my clients, it's going to be more expensive than what you thought, and it's going to take longer. You got to be prepared for the bumps along the way. I mean, nothing goes super smooth. There's always going to be something. And if you give yourself that grace and you give yourself that opportunity to have a little bit of wiggle room, you're not going to be as frustrated along the way. You just have to kind of learn to pivot. So I always say, learn to pivot. You might be thinking you're going one way, and then you got to pivot and you got to take a detour. So if the goal is the goal, detours are going to happen. Doesn't mean you necessarily change the whole goal, but be open to, God might put you on a different path than what you originally had. Again, doesn't mean that you change your desires and your goals, but he may have different paths to get there to do something else. And it might not even be about you. A lot of times we think it's about us, and it's not. It's about the community around us or the people around us or what he's doing again in these times to make a difference. So be willing to let go a little bit. And this is why letting go of belongings and things that we're so attached to is such a profound process, because we are in a physical act of letting go, which makes it easier to let go and let God. You're submitting in so many different ways to say, okay, God, I trust you with whatever you're doing in my life. I don't understand it and I don't know what's happening, but I trust you. Because when we just hold on and we're like, no, I need this for a specific reason that I don't know yet, or I need this item, these things for the future self that's going to need it. My future self is already worried about not having it, so I better keep it. Or somebody gave it to me and now I'm going to feel guilty if I get rid of it. Or, whatever the reason is, I spent a lot of money on it, so I just can't let it go. Well, all of those things can be debunked for sure. And God doesn't really care about any of it. Doesn't care what you spent on the thing. Doesn't care that you're going to hurt someone's feeling because you got rid of it. Like, he wants to liberate you from things that are weighing you down. He wants to liberate you from the stuff that's cluttering up your mind, your house, your soul, this house, the clutter, He wants to liberate you so you can walk free in light and walk in freedom. So who cares if somebody is, I hurt their feelings because I got rid of it. That comes with the territory, I've had people say, well, I got you that, and how come I never see it? Because I got rid of it. Why? Well, because I didn't need it. I blessed somebody else with it, And if they're going to get feelings hurt, they'll be like, don't buy it. Don't buy me things then, And if you still choose to, then there's a good chance I might give it away, because if I don't need it, I'm not holding on to it. So you just have to, people get their feelings hurt for so many different reasons. That's another topic. But be willing to live and walk free in light, knowing that God might move you. He might move you to a different city, a different location, a different way of living, so you experience something that maybe you've never experienced before, so you can reach people who are experiencing that. He might strip everything from you so you can help people who are going through those similar things, or to help you build back up. A lot of times God strips us all the way down to build us all the way back up. And you don't have to have every single thing figured out, all the answers to all of it. Trusting God and walking in faith and moving according to what his word says means you're letting go a little bit. And again, he wants your heart. He wants your character. He wants you to be wise, walk in purpose, bear good fruit. And so we have to do like our own house cleaning on, what am I eating? What am I consuming? What am I watching? What am I listening to? What am I thinking about? Do I have chronically negative thoughts? What am I engaged in on a daily basis that is not producing fruit? Is my stuff starting to have me more than I have it? Am I obsessed with consuming and making my house perfect? What if your house burned down and you lost everything? It's like, you can't become one with all of these things. You have to be detached to the point where, okay, I do enjoy these things. I like these things, but I'm not so attached to it that if God said, nope, I'm uprooting you, that you're not going to just lose it. He wants you to trust him no matter what, no matter where you live, how much money you have, how much stuff you have, how big your house is, how small your house is. None of that really even matters if your focus is on him and what he wants to do in your life. And that is, in my opinion, the faith walk. It is the daily walk, day in and day out. Sometimes it's a moment by moment walk, an hour by hour walk. You're relying on him. Your faith becomes your currency. It becomes your way of living. It becomes your breath. It becomes everything. So God, what am I doing today? Where am I going? We can make our plans, but we have to allow some room for God to come in and do what he wants to do. It just makes your day so much more well-rounded than just a to-do list and going in and out of work until you die. Working to die. It's like there's so much more that he wants us to do. And the more we let go of the unnecessary things and the nonsense, the easier it is for us to really walk that walk with joy and with peace. And without apologizing to people for it too. That'll be a talk for another time.